Zachary says, I hope this email finds you well. You love that, Kevin, don't you?
I love.
Thank you.
I'm reaching out because I've heard that you provide insightful relationship advice, and I would appreciate your perspective. To give you some context, my spouse and I started dating in June of 22. My partner has 3 children, and I have 1. Okay, so they've been together for 2 years.
Yes.
3 kids on her side, 1 on his side.
Mm-hmm.
Initially, everything was fine. They got along. Kids started they get along, and then sometimes there are reasons that he finds that his kid is being treated differently than the other kids
by the lady.
Yes,
the spouse.
yes.
Spouse, yeah.
Like he says, in February of 23, my child asked to have a birthday party with just friends. When I approached my partner about this, she became quite upset, insisting that birthday parties should include family. So he ended up saying that a few weeks later, she basically had the same situation with her kids. Mm-hmm. And the partner had a very different response.
Yeah.
She laughed and agreed that the kids should have their friends instead of just family.
Gosh.
This inconsistency confused my child and created a rift between us. Okay, fast forward to May of 23. Problems got worse. My child and I felt increasingly marginalized, not being allowed to enjoy music at a reasonable volume while her kids could blast theirs, for example. So all these little things that are just, she's being a hypocrite, basically.
Yeah.
A lot of arguments have happened over the last couple years because of unequal treatment in the home. For instance, the child innocently referred to her kids as step-siblings. My partner reacted harshly, grounding him for 2 weeks, while her children attempted to assert that my child was indeed a step-sibling. So really just not equal.
Yeah.
Not equal rights within a family.
Yeah, I mean, really.
For real. We both want to move forward positively. I'm reaching out to seek your advice on how to navigate this complicated family dynamic. I genuinely want our family to be united and for my child to feel valued, but I'm struggling to find the right approach. Thanks for taking the time to read my message.
Yeah.
So the end of that sounded positive when he said we both want to move forward.
So they recognize there's issues.
So I feel like couples therapy would be in order.
Or
family.
So
counseling.
I had even just start off with your family unit first, I would think. Let the kids say, hey, I don't find it fair when I can't call Jennifer my stepsister, but she can call me the stepbrother or whatever, that maybe. It sounds very like that work could be done at home, just having open conversations about what is expected, what are boundaries. And guess what? The relationship can even get better with one person going to therapy.
Oh, yeah. Who kind of can understand those relationships.
Right.
I think we all feel a little hesitant on this one.
Unqualified.
To give our advice because we feel like this might be at the professional level, and so we want to be careful. And
sure.
That'd be our first recommendation, I think, as a professional help type situation.
You need a neutral party.
As I hear it, because I read it before, like we all did, and then hearing it kind of reminds me of our situation growing up where we had a blended family that includes the other person's
children,
kids,
right?
And you all of a sudden have step siblings.
Yeah.
But it sounds like the unfair treatment. It's got to stem from somewhere, and maybe establishing the fact that hey, the couple, we love each other, and we understand it's going to be hard to maybe bring everyone else along with that same feeling. So how can we come at this and kind of understand each other and where it might be coming from? And like a lot of our topics go towards the open communication, that there's some resentment in the whole relationship from the kids with the 3, and it might be like the 3 of them have teamed up against his one, and so that kind of might seem daunting, of course, for them to accept their step sibling,
right?
For some reason.
I'm gonna bring it back up. Kevin's favorite sentence.
You do you?
I feel blank because blank. Or I feel blank when you blank because blank.
That's open Communication.
Start with you. I feel. Because you don't want to start pushing like, okay, when you do this, blah, blah, blah. Start with yourself. Tell them how you feel. And then where does this come from? I feel like it's unequal treatment.
Yeah.
You know?
And I feel like the kids have, for sure, like, positive thoughts about it, because
sure they do.
Growing up with kind of what you're saying, in a blended family,
siblings.
and whenever the parents, like my dad and stepmom, came together, it was just different parenting styles. And as a kid, you're just like, well, no, I'm used to my dad's. I don't need to learn the way that you're teaching me. You know what I mean? It's just, and you're pushing back quite a bit. So as a kid, I feel like it's better to kind of what you guys are saying and just maybe sit down with the kids and explain to them, hey, we're all trying here. We're all trying to stay together and keep this family together, but we also need effort from you guys to understand, hey, we love each other as husband and wife, and we want you guys to understand.
United front has to happen, period.
I was going to say, because even though I might have not, particularly cared for some step siblings to begin with, just because you had that angst, the united front of your mom and stepdad, or your dad and stepmom, them being united, which I feel like is the root of this problem. Zachary's talking about his partners, also ganging up on his kid in a sense. That's not a good start to getting everyone on the same page.
But having those open conversations, just asking the kids how they feel about, okay, well, I can do this. Why can't he do this? Like why
it doesn't add up.
It has to show that every kid is going to be treated the same. Somebody doesn't get special treatment because they're on one side of the family. So it's just, that's difficult. That's hard.
You guys are throwing down some good advice. I'm proud of you.
Thanks, Kevin.